Hello everyone, I'm Helen and we're here together tonight to tell the story of a very dear friend of many people here in the audience tonight. This is Gai Ryan, daughter of a driller who grew up in mining towns from Catherine to Queenstown. She had the guts and the authenticity of a country girl, the artistic sensitivities and a passion of fashion born from her love of the 50s. She spent 35 years collecting vintage clothes from op shops around the country, and that's why we're here tonight, to tell you her story. She was not only a collector, she was a born entrepreneur. Gai was part of the avant-garde in-crowd in Cairns in the 70s and 80s, hosting funky fashion parades and opening zany clothes shops. She teamed up her clothes with music from local bands like Flash and the Phantoms for her infamous parades. But her passion for fashion disappeared from the public arena for some years after that, when she moved her focus to the life that she created with the love of her life, Kevin, and her daughter Bonnie. Together they created one of the most iconic backpacker hostels in Cairns. Her private passion never waned, however, and she continued to create a treasure trove of beautiful 50s clothes. Stored in old wooden trunks and the wardrobe she inherited from her grandparents, Gai amassed lingerie, sleepwear, day frocks, cocktail dresses, evening wear, and the gloves, handbags and hats that went with them. She did the near impossible, maintaining this collection in the dank, damp tropics over 3 decades, every piece in impeccable order. She not only maintained the story of the 50s in fashion, she wanted it to be shared in a way that enriched our lives. She convened 2 parades called A Decade in Motion that both celebrated this wonderful era and were in aid of local politics and the old Cairns Yacht Club. Lingerie.
Lingerie in the 1950s. Sleepwear is feminine, pastel and floating, and provocative, leaving room for the imagination. In satins, soie and voiles. Housecoats were also a big favourite, not like a dressing gown, more like a coat. Perfect for the preparing a family breakfast or even answering the door.
Shopping.
Shopping. Dresses were pleated, darted and panelled, with lace trims, flattering to a woman's figure. Practical yet feminine. Women wore these frocks to town for their weekly shopping trip and for cups of tea and scones at their favourite tea shop.
Races.
The Cairns Cup was held at Cannon Park in the winter tropical months. This allowed the ladies to wear the beautiful handmade frocks and hats. They sipped champagne, shared stories about the local social scene, and whilst the men placed bets and generally behaved badly.
Cocktails.
Cocktails. Women went to cocktail parties wearing sophisticated gowns in beaded crepes, shot silks, taffetas and velvets in rich colours, perfect for an evening of flamboyant flirting with the opposite sex.
The ball.
The ball season began in May in Cairns. Many of the balls were held on a Friday night, as this allowed for proceedings to continue well past midnight. The regulations stipulated that places shut down at midnight on Saturday to allow for church and a day of rest on Sunday.
Then, like a flash from the gods, Gai's life took a shocking turn. The Spanish dancer appeared. The driller's daughter with the heart of a lion was facing the fight of her life. She fought it with the strength and dignity inherent in her and outlived all expectations. And so, after her passing, what to do with Gai's legacy? It couldn't be left to surrender to the destructive environment of the tropics. But her daughter Bonnie, who's here tonight, came up with the answer. There had to be a next decade in motion. She rallied the old chooks, all the dear friends that had modelled for Gai over the years, and shared her passion to decide what to do with this amazing collection. So a meeting of old chooks was called on Bon's back veranda, and there the ideas flew. With a fiery red sunset as our background, we knew the big red was watching over us. We came up with a plan. A film shoot, a PechaKucha night, here we are, and one last parade. Maybe then we could garner the interest from someone in Cairns to house the collection for posterity. The gathering of the models to try on the frocks followed, an absolute delight. In the years since our original Decade in Motion parades, our daughters had grown into beautiful young men who could take our place as models. It would have been great if you got stuck before.
Cup of tea. Anyone else cup of tea?
Planning. Thank you, darling. Oh,
Actually, girls, do it. Walk up and
a
down the
little
parade
parade
for us.
with them while we're waiting.
Well, we get a bit closer.
Daywear, cocktail, lingerie. Can we have some? Oh, thank you. Shopping. And finally,
Back to your seats.
so the gathering of models to try the frocks. So in the years since our original Decade in Motion, our daughters had grown into beautiful young women who could take our place as models. A whole new generation brought the clothes to life. Tiny waists and endless spunk turned 50s frocks into something to die for. The film shoot provided not only a digital catalogue of Gai's collection, but the foundation for future projects. In our wish to preserve these images for posterity, we plan to produce a coffee table book, a keepsake for Bonnie and Kevin and Gai's friends and family, and a key piece of the museum collection to be housed in Cairns one day. The film shoot was fun. In Gai's old Queenslander in central Cairns, 2 generations of women combined their talents to craft the looks of yesteryear. Faces were carefully made up, funky 50s hairdos created, and sets decorated with Gai's furniture, collectibles, glasses, and teacups. Nana's costume jewellery boxes were brought back out into the light of day. Old shoes and handbags were dusted off, and fur stoles shaken and freshened. Girls busily dressed one another, doing up the countless covered buttons and hook and eye clips that were the feature of the day, coaxing old metal zips back into action. The unveiling of the photos followed, with a gathering of the girls and bottled of bubbles to celebrate the milestone. There were gasps of disbelief and expressions of absolute delight as one beautiful image after another appeared on the big screen, highlighting the transformation from young, hip gals of today to sophisticated women of the 50s. But there was more. As an up-and-coming local artist looking to exhibit, this project gave Gai's daughter, Bonnie, the perfect material to explore her own creative talents in honouring her mother's wishes. She began to draw in fine detail the kinds of fashion sketches seen in David Jones' catalogues of the day. And so here we are with you now, sharing this first step in the journey of the next Decade in Motion. We know we've enlivened your interest in the future of this collection tonight, and in our ambition to honour Gai and send the collection into its new future. If you've been inspired by it or have an idea, please feel welcome to chat with us and join us on the journey.